Now on CoastTV News.
It's cold out there tonight, and some people have no place to go. How volunteers are stepping up and how you can help.
Dangerously cold conditions will continue for tonight and the next few nights in a row.
Pink and green skies. Northern lights seen across Delmarva tonight. What causes this spectacular sight?
This is CoastTV News at 11.
A dazzling display of light across Delmarva tonight. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Take a look at this. People across the peninsula caught a glimpse of the northern lights tonight. It is rare this far south, but clearly it happens. We got some great photos from viewers in Milton, Lewis, Long Neck, also Broadkill Beach, all over the peninsula really. Also our photographer Matt Hipsman, he was out looking for the lights. He found them. There he is. And we spoke with some sisters who say they were just getting ready for bed and then they heard about it and they went to go look for the lights.
Really cool because I really wanted, when I was older, I really wanted to maybe travel to Alaska or something to see them, because it was definitely on my bucket list. So I'm definitely excited that I could see it now.
Yeah, I mean, why go to Alaska when you could just go down the street in Sussex County and see the northern lights? And thank you to everyone who shared their photos with us tonight. Now we're going to look live into Rehoboth Beach and turn things to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. Paul, you know a thing or two about these northern lights, yeah?
Well, we'll dabble in that a little bit. Now, what you're talking about is geomagnetic activity, and it's based on your positioning and just how clear it is. Well, it's totally clear for tonight, so we're going to see the lights jumping in a major way. So here's a look at the U.S. And so what you want to do, if you want to see it the best, you want to be here at this K9 level, which is this red line. Now I'm going to switch sides here to kind of show you where our visibility comes into play as far as observing this geomagnetic phenomenon and activity. Now, as far as tonight is concerned, we're going to be at the extreme to severe level. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to affect us or hurt us, but you'll be very visible, especially with the clear light and because of our positioning on the planet. Now, we'll have an opportunity for tonight as well as Wednesday because we're going to be between strong and severe. Now, we will go down to moderate to strong by the time we get to Thursday, but tonight is the night and tomorrow will be the times you can have a best gander at what's going on. And that's because the clear skies, and those same clear skies will allow the temperatures to drop into the 30s and will eventually slip into the mid to lower 30s, and we're still staying clear and we're still dealing with much colder conditions. So you're going to need to bundle up even if you are very scientifically curious, and I understand because I've been that way ever since birth. Coming up, we're going to talk about just how curious these temperatures are going to be as they dip way below the norm for this time of the year.
All right, thank you, Paul. And these cold conditions are especially difficult for people who do not have somewhere to call home or somewhere warm to sleep. Certain shelters like Code Purple, they're not open yet. And Coast TV photojournalist Matt Hipsman shows us how Code Purple volunteers are stepping up as the weather gets cold and how you can help.
200 people taking care of 28 guests. It's a lot, right? But I think we're doing the right thing, and I believe we're doing God's work. I believe that we're all called to take care of the least of us, right? So Matthew 25:40 is we live and breathe it. Whatever you do for the least of us, you do for me. So that's what we're doing here. That's what Code Purple's all about.
What it meant to me was the people that were caring and listen to you and help you out, and just a friend. I mean, after me and my friend got our apartment, we are still friends with these women volunteers that helped us out.
The night captain is responsible for overseeing the evening hosts. The evening hosts are the folks that are actually staying overnight and being the supervisor on site for the shelters, whether it be at St. Jude's or at St. Lutheran's Church.
We need clothing, hats, gloves, and scarves gently used. We need socks and underwear that's new in the package. People don't like to put underwear on unless it's in the package. And we need shelf-stable foods. We have a QR code for an Amazon wish list.
Now, Code Purple shelters, they open December 1st here in Delaware. Now to Millsboro, where the first in a worldwide redesign for one automaker is being unveiled. Ford introducing what it calls Ford Signature 2.0. Millsboro's redesign started back in March of last year, and it features an open layout with natural light, digital tools, and lounge-style seating. It's aimed at creating a more relaxed, hotel-like experience. The location was chosen due to potential growth and expansion in the area. Henry Ford's great-granddaughter was even there to cut the ribbon, and we spoke to J.B. Burnett about those changes.
Really, our sales associates are just here as guides, as concierges to help you sort of through the process, and you can do it at your own journey. If you want to do most of it at home, or you want to come in the dealership and do all of it, or some version of somewhere in between, we're here to meet you where you're at.
And he says the redesign cost, that's about $12.5 million. The ultimate goal is for all of Ford's 9,000 dealerships worldwide to eventually adopt the concept debuted in Millsboro. If you are driving down Route 1 in Lewis, fines from speed cameras go into effect today. The speed limit down Route 1 in a work zone near Minnows-Conaway Road is 50 miles per hour, but the cameras will start snapping drivers going 11 miles per hour over the speed limit or more. And you may have driven by the camera already. It has been up for a few weeks to give drivers a buffer, but like we said, the fines start today.
There's new eyes on the road. It's this camera. And starting Tuesday, it's active. Any drivers going south on Route 1 in the Lewis Work Zone area will be fined for speeding. The speed limit in the work zone is 50 miles per hour, and fines start for any drivers going 61 or over. That'll cost you $20, plus an additional $1 for each mile per hour over, plus some extra fees in the state's code. And for repeat offenders, it's even more. For example, according to DelDOT, if you're going 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, the total fine is $130. Tamis Hoffman says she thinks the cameras will help drivers slow down.
It is good to have lower speeds in construction zones because there's a lot of people working there. But I think it's great to let the public know ahead of time.
But not everyone is on board. Mark Kaiser, who lives right near the cameras, says he's barely witnessed any speeding.
It's just not necessary, and I'm not sure where the money is going to anyway.
So whether you agree or not, the camera's rolling and your speed could soon cost you.
That was Emma Aiken reporting, and it's worth noting the speed camera can only issue civil fines, nothing that's going to get you points on your license. And DelDOT tells us the camera is only going to be up during the construction part of the project there on Route 1. Now, starting Thursday, Delaware's Easy Pass website is going to look a lot different, and DMV leaders say it's going to be easier to use. According to the DMV, the updated website will feature monthly toll invoices, combining all charges into a single bill. Also, toll by plate at all exit ramps for those without Easy Pass, and new email and text alerts for account updates and low balances. But to make the switch, the agency says all Easy Pass online services will be offline. That's from 8 p.m. November 13th until 7 a.m. November 18th. Looking regionally now, a fast-moving house fire in Accomack County, leaving debris and ash in its wake yesterday. The fire broke out at a home on Salty Way in the Captain's Cove community in Greenbackville, Virginia. One home collapsed and 2 other homes had heat damage. Thankfully, everyone was able to get out and no injuries were reported. With the wind, though, neighbors say the fire happened quick and it spread fast.
I've got a little bit of meltage on my siding here, not like the other neighbors, but definitely you can feel the heat, and it was quite intense and melted our siding along with the 2 homes beside it.
Neighbors also tell us firefighters were working into the evening and they actually returned overnight to put out the embers. The Accomack County Fire Marshal is investigating where and how the fire started and assessing the full damage there. The community says the family has a place to stay while cleanup and repairs get underway. Well, an end to what is now the longest U.S. government shutdown in history. The end is in sight. GOP leaders believe lawmakers will end the stalemate this week as a funding bill approved by the Senate is now on its way to the House for approval. It's ultimately one step closer to arriving on President Trump's desk for a signature. Sherelle Hubbard has more.
For the millions of Americans feeling the shutdown pain, the end may finally be near. The House is expected to vote on the Senate's deal to end the government shutdown on Wednesday.
The bill as amended is passed.
On Monday night, the Senate voted to approve a funding measure to reopen the federal government. Ahead of the Senate vote, President Donald Trump pledged to sign off on the plan when or if it reaches him.
I'll abide by the deal. The deal is very good.
But not everyone believes that the deal Democrats agreed to, which won't include an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies, is a good one.
We should have kept the pressure on.
A small band of Senate Democrats voted with Republicans. They agreed to join the vote without securing their party's demand to guarantee those subsidies, which help millions of Americans afford health insurance. Some on the left raising questions about the Democratic Party's effectiveness going forward.
We can't afford to have a divided opposition party in this moment.
The deal to end the shutdown includes jobs restored for thousands of federal workers fired during the shutdown, protections against mass federal layoffs through the end of the fiscal year, back pay for furloughed workers, and funding for SNAP benefits through the 2026 fiscal year. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Although the deal does not do what Democrats have repeatedly pushed for throughout this entire process, which is extending the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire at the end of the year, it does promise a future Senate vote on it. The House, though, has not committed to taking that up. And we are just getting started. There's more news ahead. Coming up, veterans and families gathering in Rehoboth Beach and across Delmarva today, how the community is remembering those who served. But first, Paul Williams is tracking your forecast in our CoastTV First Alert Weather Center. Your full forecast after this.
So thanks to the clear skies, we're able to see the northern lights beautifully, but it's also setting us up for another couple of nights of extremely cold weather with no recourse, courtesy of Mother Nature. Now in Salisbury right now, we're holding at 34 degrees. That's only 2 away from freezing at this point. And any kind of wind whatsoever is just going to make it feel that much colder. So the temperature is still lower than what it has been. Take a look at where we are right now. We're below freezing almost everywhere. Now, with the exception along the coast, because proximity to the water, because water is actually one of the substances on the earth that's least likely to give up or take on heat. So what little warmth is there is just kind of radiating and keeping it just above freezing with the mid-30s. But everywhere else inland where there's no water, yeah, that's where we're below freezing or at freezing for the most part, with the exception of Laurel and Delmar. So here's where we stand right now. We're no longer under a gale wind warning in most locations, but we've been downgraded to a small craft advisory. And that's still 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Slaughter Beach and Broadkill Beach. Now, we still have the active gale wind warnings for Rehoboth Beach, Ocean View, Indian River Inlet, Fenwick Island, and those locations. So we're still wisping around at about 45-mile-per-hour winds there. And we've been downgraded in Ocean City down to a small craft advisory. Bear in mind, a 25-mile-per-hour wind gust on a steady basis with temperatures in the 30s, that's still hurtful if you're outside without being bundled up. So we have the winds now beginning to shift out of the southwest, so they're changing direction, so that's going to help. And the change of direction is going to make it feel just a tad better. Instead of 30, let's say 32. Tomato, tomato, right? So, but we're still going to be very cold, even going into the early morning hours for tomorrow, and then we'll eventually warm up by mid-morning and feel a little bit better. But the good news is this: we're not dealing with howling winds out of the northwest at 40 miles per hour for tomorrow. However, we have somewhat howling winds continuing out of the southwest, which is just a tad better, not by much, but a tad better. But we're going to have clear skies, and temperatures will be in the upper 50s, so that's helpful. But just so you'll realize, so you're not under any delusion that's going to get warm, quote unquote, by any stretch of the imagination, Wednesday morning, the wind chills will be in the 30s. Thursday morning, same thing. Friday morning, actually a little bit worse. We're going to be actually right at freezing for Friday. So the next 3 mornings, we're going to stay that kind of cold. Clear skies and temperatures in the 30s will rise to 57, near 60 for Wednesday. Thursday, we start off in the 40s, a little bit better. And we're going to stay right in the 50s, so not much of a movement there, so not much of a change. So for the next 3 days, we're looking at sunshine on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies on Thursday. And then on Friday, we start easing a little bit closer and thawing out to the norm for this time of the year. Now, we'll be looking for the same situation for us as we go into, let's say, Ocean City, Fenwick Island, and we'll warm ever so gradually for us in Lewis and for Rehoboth Beach. Finally, here's a look at your, I'm sorry, one more thing. And we have that rain that's pulling across on Sunday, my apologies. Now we go to the 7-day forecast, and we will rain, like I just showed you on that big green map, on Sunday.
Thank you, Paul. At the Rehoboth Beach Bandstand, community members were gathering today to honor heroes, remembering what they did for our country. And Coast TV News reporter Nicole Richter shows us what Veterans Day in Rehoboth was all about.
Flags waving. Applause filling the air. And veterans being recognized for their service. At the Rehoboth Beach Bandstand, the community standing shoulder to shoulder, taking a moment to say thank you.
It's about all of us, all of those who served.
The city annual Veterans Day ceremony brought together veterans, families, and city leaders to honor those who served and remember those who never came home. Jerry Price, one of the many veterans there, says Veterans Day is about connection, a shared understanding that forms when you serve side by side.
It's a collective, right? So when you join the service, you all put the same uniform on, right? We get trained the same way. So you lose some of your individualism, but you gain that camaraderie, you gain that teamwork, and it's kind of like an engine firing on all cylinders.
For many, like Dave Diefendorfer, captain in the United States Navy Reserve, the day is a reminder that service doesn't end when the uniform comes off. It continues in pride and purpose.
Veterans Day to me is a day to honor all the veterans who have served our country. Many veterans from many wars have served and sacrificed for this country.
There was a moment of silence, music to honor veterans, and wreaths laid to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. This now stands as a remembrance, a simple reminder that freedom comes at a cost, and the community hasn't forgotten those who paid it. In Rehoboth Beach, I'm Nicole Richter, Coast TV News.
Also up in Dover today, lawmakers, veterans, and neighbors were gathering at the Kent County Levy Court building for a ceremony that was hosted by Chapter 850 of the Vietnam Veterans of America. The keynote speaker was a retired Air Force Lieutenant General William Welser. The third reflected on the meaning of Veterans Day and the importance of honoring those who served. Veterans say the day is about more than remembrance, though. It's about continuing to honor those who defend our freedom every day.
Only less than 1% serve in the military today. So we're honored to be here today and very proud of our country. And we would do it again too, by the way.
The ceremony today also highlighted the creation of Delaware's new state-level Department of Veterans Affairs, which veterans say will give them a stronger voice. Coming up next, veteran unemployment. Veterans bring unique skills to the job, yet some are still struggling in the workforce. Over the past 5 years, the price tag on an average wedding has risen nearly 20% to $33,000, according to wedding marketplace The Knot. And that upward trend, it's expected to continue in part because of new tariffs. Roughly 20% of vendors say charges on non-U.S. countries have caused their prices to go up for items including dresses, rings, even cake ingredients. The CEO of The Knot Worldwide says vendors have to make tough calls and decide whether to raise prices or absorb the additional costs themselves. Target this year is aiming to help consumers further stretch their household budgets and save on the products they rely on. The company announcing reduced costs on 3,000 food, beverage, and essential items starting this month. Target is also bringing back its Thanksgiving meal at its lowest price ever. The deal gives customers a complete dinner with all of your holiday favorites for less than $5 per person. Well, Veterans Day serves as a yearly reminder to thank and honor all of those who served honorably in the U.S. military. But what happens when veterans try and enter the workforce after the military? Ivan Rodriguez reports on challenges veterans can face when looking for a job and why employers across the country may want to consider investing in them.
For the last few years, veteran unemployment rates have remained low.
It's a testament to the work that we're doing in corporate America and the services that are provided out here to ensure that when people leave the armed forces, they're plugged into great opportunities.
Bruce Mosler with Cushman & Wakefield says veterans have a skill set that could translate into many workplaces.
It's
collaboration skills, it's leadership skills, and at the end of the day, it's people that work well under pressure. These are all skill sets that are remarkably unique when you compare that to just the young kids coming out of college.
As of August 2025, there are 256,000 unemployed veterans. Compared to last year, the unemployment rate is slightly down to 3.1%, according to the U.S. Labor Department. Still, there are subgroups of veterans who struggle more than others when it comes to finding a job. The unemployment rate for veterans with a disability is around 5.7%.
We still have a responsibility as organizations to make sure that once they're in a place to come re-enter the workforce, that we are doing our due diligence to bring them back.
Mosler says this year alone, Cushman & Wakefield expanded its veteran workforce by 600 and hopes more companies follow suit.
Today is a day to say thank you, but thank you is not enough. Today's a day to remember that those who serve have unique skill sets, and they deserve and have earned the opportunity for their next career move.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Coming up in sports, highlights from the Delaware State boys soccer semifinals. Sussex Central battled Salesianum with a spot in the title game on the line. And coming up, the latest on measles in the U.S. and how close we are to losing elimination status.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
A new study has found that heavy drinking can cause an earlier and more severe stroke. Researchers defined heavy alcohol use as regularly consuming at least 3 drinks a day, and that's linked to bleeding strokes, more severe brain bleeds, and earlier long-term brain damage. The study's lead author said people who drink an average of 3 glasses of alcohol per day had their brain bleeds on an average of 11 years younger than compared to people who were drinking less alcohol. The U.S. has not yet lost its measles elimination status, but rising cases and declining vaccinations remain a top concern for public health officials. Tonight, Mandy Gaither has a look at the latest data and explains why experts say measles is making a comeback.
In Canada, as of last month, more than 5,000 cases of measles were reported for the year. That's more than twice as many as the previous 25 years combined, and has led to the loss of the country's measles elimination status. Some worry the status in the United States isn't far behind.
We have seen quite the dramatic increase in measles really across the North America.
Dr. Keisha Davis with the American Academy of Family Physicians says measles is a serious respiratory illness characterized by a sore throat, high fever, cough, and a rash on the body. Serious complications in severe cases include pneumonia, brain swelling, even death, and the virus is highly contagious.
9 out of 10 people that are exposed to someone with measles, if they are not vaccinated, 9 out of 10 of them are expected to contract measles. That's quite a high number.
The latest CDC data reports 1,681 confirmed measles cases in the U.S. this year as of November 4th. Of those, 92% were unvaccinated or had an unknown vaccination status.
It's very concerning that we are seeing this illness to be on the rise, especially when we know that there are very simple steps that can be done to prevent it.
Davis says vaccination against measles is the best protection. It's typically given to children between 12 and 15 months of age, with the second dose given at 4 to 6 years old.
We really do encourage folks to get that vaccine.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
After Sussex Central boys soccer upset Cape Henlopen in penalty kicks last Thursday, the Golden Knights earned a new challenge, the state semifinals. Earlier tonight, Sussex Central battled Salesianum, a program with 22 Delaware titles. The Sallies set the tone early in this one. Look at the speed from Chase Esser. He scores and Salesianum goes up 1-0. And it was a family affair for the Sallies. Brady Esser picks up the assist. Brian Perez Herrera the finish. The Sallies lead the Golden Knights 2-0 at halftime. They're having fun too. My goodness. After the break, Brady Esser was done being a passer. He scored himself. 3-0. Salesianum leads. Let's switch back to Chase Esser. That same speed we saw from him earlier practically runs into the goal. The deficit for Sussex Central is up to 4. So Chase Esser already has a brace. Brian Perez Herrera wanted the same thing. He gets there with his second goal. Salesianum up 5 bagel. Salesianum went on to tack on one more goal for good measure. Final score, Sally 6, Golden Knights 0. So Sussex Central's season has come to a close. Salesianum heads back to the state title game where it fell to Caesar Rodney 3-1 last year. The championship is this Saturday at 3 o'clock. That'll do it for sports. Have a great rest of your night, folks.
Now here's a live look into Lewis. We have one more check on your forecast after the break.
It's cold, been cold, going to stay cold. That being the case, hey, it was cold right now in Milford. We're going to stay on the cold side with temperatures in the 30s. Gale wind warning still in effect for the beaches that are in Sussex County, but for Ocean City on down, we are now under a small craft advisory, which means we're talking about 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts there. Our umbrella giveaway winner, Marshall Jackson of Lewis. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Medalis, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast.
Thanks, Paul. I see a 68 on there.
Yeah, and then right after that, we go back to 38.
Okay, well, I think maybe the northern lights were like a little gift from Mother Nature.
There you go. At least with this clear skies and cold weather should have some benefit other than just being cold, right?
Yeah,
oh, tonight, tomorrow, prime time to take a look at that.
Okay, good to know. Thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. You can always find more news and weather on our Coast TV News app, and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is up next. We'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a good night.